Somebody laughs at you in a meeting, not with you, at you. Or a stranger online decides your face, your voice, your opinion is worth a paragraph of contempt. And for some reason, it works. It gets under your skin in about half a second, faster than almost anything else can. Faster than a punch, honestly. And a punch would leave a bruise you could actually point to. There's a man named Serenus who apparently had the exact same problem 20 centuries ago in Rome. A young friend of Seneca's, ambitious, clearly stinging from something. So he wrote to Seneca and asked, more or less, how do the wise ones stay unbothered by this stuff? How do they just not care? And Seneca wrote back an entire essay on the firmness of the wise man. It's called the Constantia Sapientis, if you want the Latin, which honestly sounds more impressive than the English. In it, he draws a line most of us never bother drawing between two things we lump together without thinking: injury and insult. One of them can actually hurt you. The other one, he argues, and I'll admit I didn't fully buy this the first time I read it, can't touch you at all. Not really. Here's the problem. Underneath the problem. We are, all of us, walking around with an enormous surface area exposed to other people's opinion. Somebody's tone on a phone call, a look someone gives you across a room, a comment section. God. The comment sections. And every single one of these has the power, apparently, to ruin an afternoon. Sometimes a week. Nobody really tells you how disproportionate this is. You could survive actual hardship, job loss, illness, real grief, and come out the other side functioning. But a stranger's snide remark on a video you posted? That can sit in your chest for days. Why does the small stuff hit harder than the big stuff sometimes? And here's what almost nobody says out loud. Not in a productivity guru, just in Hurt the Haters version of this advice. It's not that insults don't matter because you're supposed to be tough. It's that, according to Seneca, they were never actually capable of damaging you in the first place. The damage was always something you supplied yourself. Rule 1. Separate injury from insult, because they are not the same weight class. Seneca opens the whole essay with this distinction, almost like he's setting the terms before the argument even starts. He wrote, "If you think fit, my Serenus, let us distinguish between injury and insult. The former is naturally the more grievous, the latter less important, and grievous only to the thin-skinned, since it angers men but does not wound them." Sit with that for a second. Injury. Inuria. Actual harm. Someone stealing from you, hurting your body, wrecking something real in your life. That's heavy. That one counts. But insult. Contumely is a different category of thing entirely. It stings. It might make you furious, but it doesn't structurally wound anything. You're just annoyed or embarrassed, which feels awful in the moment. Sure, but Seneca's pointing at something almost mathematical. Pain that leaves no lasting mark isn't the same species as pain that does. Most of us confuse the two constantly. We react to a rude comment with the same alarm bells we'd use for an actual threat. Same clenched jaw. But nothing was taken. Nothing, bro. Only the thin-skinned, Seneca says, and that word choice is doing a lot of work, actually get wounded by something that was never sharp enough to wound in the first place. Rule 2, and this is the part that reframes everything else. Understand what an insult actually reveals about the person throwing it, not about you. Seneca traces the word itself. A Latin word contumely is derived from the word contempt, he wrote. because no one does that injury to another unless he regards him with contempt. Contumelia, contemptus, same root. An insult, by definition, requires the insulter to look down on you first, which means every insult is a tiny, involuntary confession. It's someone announcing out loud, I feel the need to make myself feel bigger by making you feel smaller. That's not information about your worth. That's a status move? A nervous one usually, dressed up as a comment about you. The wise man, Seneca says elsewhere in the essay, is so secure that no one can actually hold him in contempt. Not because he's arrogant, but because contempt requires a foothold, and he's given it none. So, next time it happens, someone's snide remark, someone's eye roll, try asking a different question. Not what's wrong with me, that they'd say that. Try, what does this person need to believe about themselves right now? That they'd need to say this to me? Usually the answer isn't flattering to them. Rule 3, and this is where Seneca stops arguing in the abstract and gives you an actual human being to picture. Cato. Marcus Porcius Cato. Cato the Younger, stubborn, famously incorruptible, the kind of man other senators either revered or wanted gone. Once, walking through the public baths, someone struck him in the face, apparently, about as raw and public a humiliation as ancient Rome could serve up. What will the wise man do when he receives a cuff? Seneca asks. He will do as Cato did when he was struck in the face. He did not flare up and revenge the outrage. He did not even pardon it, but ignored it, showing more magnanimity in not acknowledging it than if he had forgiven it. Read that twice. Cato didn't fight back. Fine, that's the expected Stoic move, but he also didn't forgive the man, which is what we're all taught is the noble, mature response. He just didn't register it as something that had happened to him at all. No retaliation, because that would mean the blow mattered enough to answer. No forgiveness either, because forgiveness still admits an offense occurred, still keeps the other man's actions sitting somewhere in Cato's head, taking up rent. He simply moved past it like weather. I'll be honest, that one's hard to actually pull off. Ignoring something entirely, not even mentally filing it as forgiven, that takes a level of unbothered I don't think I've fully reached. But it's worth knowing the target exists, even if you land somewhere short of it most days. And here's why Seneca thought any of this actually mattered beyond one man's peace of mind. Near the end of the essay, he makes a claim that's almost strange in its ambition. He wrote, "It is to the interest of the commonwealth of mankind that there should be someone who is unconquered, someone against whom fortune has no power." Not just useful for you personally. In other words, useful for everyone around you. Somebody has to demonstrate that a human being can stand there, fully present, fully engaged with the world, and simply not be knocked over by insult, mockery, contempt, all the small, ugly things people throw at each other constantly. Because once people see that it's possible, actually possible, not just a nice idea in a book, it changes what they think they're capable of too. Cato wasn't just protecting his own calm, he was proving a point on behalf of everyone watching. So, 3 rules, and I think they actually stack on top of each other pretty cleanly once you see it. First, stop treating insult like injury. They're not in the same category. One wounds and one just stings. Second, remember that contempt says everything about the person dishing it out and basically nothing about you. It's a confession dressed up as a comment. And third, when it happens anyway, and it will, you don't have to fight it and you don't even have to formally forgive it. Sometimes the strongest move is just refusing to let it register as something that happened to you at all. I won't pretend. This makes the sting disappear instantly. The next time somebody says something cutting to your face or under a post you made, it probably won't. Not the first few times you try it. But Seneca wasn't writing this for people who'd already mastered it. He was writing it for a nervous young friend named Serenus, who, like most of us, just needed to hear that the wound he was so afraid of was never actually as deep as it felt. If any of this landed for you, subscribe to Stoic Mind. Every week, we go straight to a philosopher's actual writing, not secondhand quotes stripped of context. Let me know in the comments the last time somebody's words got under your skin more than they probably should have. I'm curious how universal this actually is. And next time, we're looking at a Stoic method for staying present when your mind won't stop sprinting ahead of you. Until then, stay steadfast.